Hi, in this video, we will start migrating our monolith towards a microservice. So our aim would be to segregate it one by one by identifying the separate contexts, and then we'll be moving it to new projects. So without further ado, let's move to the project code. So hopefully you can see the code. Let me just, okay. So over here, you can see within the infrastructure layer, what we have a catalog DB context. But this context do have the baskets, catalogs, and as well as the orders over here. So all these things are like tied up in a single context. And what we have previously discussed was that we are going to create different services for our order for our basket and catalog. So this way we are going to segregate that. So let's just uh, try or creating a different context. So let's just go to the main repository, which is EF repository. So you can see over here that, well, let me just do this. So you can see that the repository itself is having a catalog DB context, and it is implementing certain interfaces. What we are going to do, we are going to extract a base class out of it. So I've just right click over here on the class name, and what we are going to do, we are going to refactor it, and we are going to extract a base class. I can do it other way around, but I am showcasing it to you guys to run it within the Visual Studio. So with this, let's just name this class as base repository. So let me just cut this. Let me just give it a proper name, and we are going to call this base repository. It's going to be created in a new file, and we are going to select all. Like we are going to move each and everything inside the base class, and then we'll be using or inheriting the base class over here in this EF repository. So everything is going to be extracted out to the new class. So you can see like we have our base repository class being added over here, and EF repository do not have anything else. So let's just quickly see what we have created. So over here within the base repository, a class have been like created, and it's only like accepting a type which is itself inheriting or implementing a base entity. One more thing which we need to move, because in EF repository, like these were like getting, just let me just move this. So we are moving these interfaces over here. So on a somewhat similar line, what the EF repository was doing. So we are trying to move it. And so we have moved these interfaces over here. And if I can quickly show you what the interfaces itself have, these are the like functions which have already been implemented here. So with this being done, so that was one thing which we need to do. The second thing is that the catalog DB context, if I navigate over here, you can see this is itself being derived from the DB context, but this catalog context do have all the data sets, but we are trying to segregate this basket from the order. So what we are going to do, we are going to like change this to DB context. So instead of accepting catalog DB context, we are going to use this DB context. And let me just create a base repository Let me just create a base repository constructor, and over here we are going, what we are going to accept, we are going to accept this. So this way we are accepting this and setting it up here, and all the methods itself are again the same which we have in our base class. I won't be discussing these because I've already discussed these methods in my previous videos. If you want to see, you can refer to that. So we have all the list over here. One thing which is missing over here is that you can see it's trying to set it over here. But now as we have implemented this, what we can do, we can pass this out to the base class constructor using this. So now you can see, like, EF repository itself is calling this base constructor. So we have all the functions over here and everything being listed. And now let's just go to the, let's try to build and see what sort of error we might face. We will be seeing some errors over here. What it's showing, let me just try building it. It's just still trying to build. Let me just give me a minute. I don't know why it's taking that much of a time. Let's try building it again. So you can see over here, you can see over here like a couple of errors are showing up. And what we need to do, let's just quickly see what is actually happening, because DB context itself, but we are getting different DB context. So let's just try let's just remove this, and what we are going to do, we need to separate out the rest of the things. So what we are going to do, first see the error, and within the order repository we are like facing some issue with the DB context. What sort of DB context is getting like being provided? It's a catalog DB context, which we don't want, and we need to set it to a different context. So let's just try building a new class, and I'm going to call it, order DB context. Let me just make it public. uh, with this, let's DB context, and try implementing the base the constructor, not the base constructor of this class. So let me just write this order DB context, and this is going to be, and you might be aware of from the previous videos that we need to pass on DB context options over here, and this is going to work like this. So with this being done, let me just remove this. And what we are going to do, from our catalog DB context, as we are moving away and segregating things apart, so we are moving these orders from over here inside our DB context. So you can see, like, we have moved these DB sets over here within a different context. And let's just implement the main method. Or one thing more thing, let me just use the protected override. We are going to override method, and this is going to be on model creating, right? So you can see, like, on model creating, we tried copying that, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to go, and from over here, like, the things related to order, we are going to get it. And one more thing, if you like, you can simply do this thing, like, if You just copy it over here and come over here and try pasting. And let me just remove because these are again similar method with this, and we don't need this items, only order needs to be over here. And let me just copy these two methods as well. So related to the order one, let me just pick this from here rather than typing. Let me just cut it up, and you can see like order context is there. Let's just try rebuilding it. I still assume that we are going to face the issue because DB context itself is not being set. So I need to change this. So you can see order repository is still accepting a catalog. Let me just change it to order DB context. And what else we need to do? Let's just quickly see. DB context is not null over here. What we need to do. So within the order repository, I'm going to, okay. Okay, one thing which I missed, order repository itself should be like using the base repository. So you can see like when I change it to base repository, it worked that way. And what else we are like missing over here? And second thing that you can see like DB context itself is like not null here because we do not have anything like DB context. So let's just try creating a DB context. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a let me just do, it should allow me to, not this one. Okay, why it's saying so? Okay, I don't know. Let me try adding this. This is supposed to be done basically a read-only order DB context. So you can see like these are getting fixed over here. So if I try building it, you still see some error there. So let me just, okay, I need to remove it from over here. So we have quickly done it for orders. So let me just do it for the basket DB context as well. So let me just quickly create. I'll try my best to uh, wrap it up as soon as possible. So let me just add a new class, and I'm going to call this basket repository. And what we are going to do, we are going to again do something like this. I'm going to implement a base repository for basket, and we're using iasync repository. What we are going to do, we are going to use actually basket this one. And over here, what I'm going to do, let me just do quickly rather than using this and that. I'm using this, and I'm going to change everything for basket repository. So let me just use this, and we are going to call this basket repository. This is going to be not this one. Let me just remove this up, and this is going to be basket repository, and as again a somewhat similar basket DB context needs to be created. and a private variable is going to be basket db context. I'm trying to do it quickly so we have separate context, and let me just create somewhat similar on this similar lines. Let me create a basket db context. So I'm copying this and going to utilize the same over here. Let me just rename this to a basket db context. And when we go to this, let me just call this basket db context, call this basket db context 2. Rather than orders, we need to have all these are not relevant for this basket, so we have removed it. Initially we have pulled it from the catalog. I'm going to do, I need to see if there is any data set for basket. So what I'm going to do, I am going to cut it from over here and going to put it inside the basket db context. So with this we have, so let's just see if there is anything else. All these are related to catalog, so we are not going to touch those. And let me just try rebuilding, and we still see like the basket. Okay, you can see we have done it right, and try building it. So you can see like we are able to compile the project, and what is going to happen, it might affect certain things because if I try running it, I expect there could be some issues, but at least we have changed the context. So from a build perspective, you can see we have segregated our context, and moving further I'll be moving all those files into or their own projects. The reason to do it from a monolith is to identify the bounded context, which we have already identified. Like from catalog, we have to pull out the basket and the orders, and the catalog itself is going to be a different service. So these three services which we are going to build, we have set the foundation over here. So hopefully you are able to follow along with me till here. In my upcoming videos, I'm going to show you how we are going to segregate it and what else we are going to do to make it like proper microservices. So thanks for watching. Have a nice day, and if you like this video, make sure to subscribe the channel and the video, like and subscribe to the video as well. And in case if there are any comments, feel free to share those as well.